Let's go ahead and get started. Man, what's going on, family? Glad y'all are able to tap in with the round table talk today. And actually, I've been missing the past couple of weeks. Just time's been real sensitive and pressured. But I'm back. I'm glad that the team always hold it down like they supposed to. So, as always, I applaud you guys, Fridge, Fish, Ryan, Trina. I'm pretty sure he's somewhere around here. I think last time I heard from him, he was in the club posting MSTR charts. But
Yes.
how y'all doing today? How everybody doing? Hey Fish, I heard you took Trina out for some nice steaks, man. How'd that go?
Bro. Oh my God, man. It was first of all, I just want to say it was a real pleasure to meet trying to make it in person. The guy that you all see and meet and work with every day, that's the real cat in person. And I'm real good at picking up on BS, and China is 100% genuine. He is the real deal, man. I'm telling you. So it was a real blessing to meet him. But yeah, man, we met up at a steakhouse in New York, and I got the young man to eat some beautiful medium rare ribeye and
Fire.
porterhouse, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yes. Man, he didn't get it well done though, huh? He said it was.
I told him I wouldn't let him. I told him, I said, honestly, here's the deal. I said, we're going to order it medium rare. I said, you're going to have one bite. If you don't like it, no problem. We'll send it back. We'll cook it up like a hockey puck for you if that's what you want, man.
Facts.
Yeah, man. But no, he was good, man. He was like, okay, let's go. And I don't know, but I think we may have changed his life over there.
Oh man, my boy growing up, little bro growing up, finally ate a grown man steak. I liked it. I liked it. All right, we done gave
Yeah.
a couple people a few more moments to hop in. As usual, we gonna give a little political, economic talk. Speak on what the feds have been doing most recently. Of course, we're gonna look at SPY and the Qs, give my take on the overbought, oversold, where are we at right now on the SPY and the Qs and some other tickers that we like too. Gio, if you can, he said no chicken nuggets. Ah man, but we're gonna look at some of the other stocks that's popping off. MSTR, Hood, Palantir, some of the ones that you like, and just give a breakdown and what we'll be looking at this upcoming week. So, first thing first, I'm gonna go ahead and break down the spot since I have it up at the moment. Let me know if y'all can see my charts in the stream.
Oh, I can, so I'm sure everyone can.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. McLaren say talk about pattern, bro. I don't have my notebook here. Let me I'm right on this.
That's the new IPO, right? That just came out.
I think so.
Yeah, it came out Friday. Came out Friday around like 12:30, 1 o'clock ish, something like that. The shares were supposed to IPO at $14. It actually went to 13.50 is where it was released, and then it dropped a little bit. I think it dropped like 12.50 at the very lowest. It bounced back up, and it's now at like 15.48, something around that.
Yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. So that was the one that you were telling me about, huh? That you had ended up
Mhm.
getting into.
Yes, sir. So I was only awarded one whole share out of 115 that I applied for.
Oh
Yeah, thanks,
Lord.
Robinhood.
So you
Yeah,
just got a
appreciate it.
shitty feel. So did you have a limit order or was it a market order that you had put in?
So they told me that I was getting one share, right? And
Uh,
so then I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna put in a limit order for $14, for 75 more shares. And the limit order went through at 13.50. And as soon as mine went through, I went straight over to my dad's account, and lo and behold, I got him 50 shares at $13. It's like, cool. He got a better price than me. Awesome.
Fast.
You know, I wish
Yeah.
I'd gotten a better price, but I mean, hey, that's the one that raised me. So let's make him a little money too.
Well, I'll definitely weigh in on that. as of lately, I've gotten kind of like a 6 month rule on IPO stocks just to kind of give it time for the dust to settle. So we'll definitely just see what we got going on with it right there and look at the highs and the lows and see what we can make about price levels going forward. So um, let's check out spot real quick. Um, it's been very pumpy over the past what? Let's see. It started so from the beginning of September, we just been on a straight uptrend by the dip type activity with SPY. Now, going into this upcoming week, we didn't quite hit this price target up here at 665, but once we start getting a little bit higher in this 667 range, if we do continue to go up a little bit more, I'm looking at, profit taking to start, you know, popping off anywhere above 667. I got my GAN levels showing that, we got good support right here, which this could be, um, a level to continue to build up on. Even if prices do drop, this is somewhere that prices could gradually, continue to hold around here, but a very high top from where we are right now here at 673.50ish. So even if we do reach up here, it's gonna have to establish new support. I mean, this is all-time highs that we talking about. So anytime you see new all-time highs, of course, the follow up behind you, you're gonna see a little bit of profit taking until prices start to know, where buyers want to step back in at. So September effect is still a real thing to me right now. We might not be in the bear market, but we probably possibly won't continue to hold some of these levels by the end of the month, going into October. So as of right now, we still look good. Once it gets above this 665 to 667 level, then I think that we'll eventually start seeing some profit taking within these levels up here and possibly try to see if support can go back and be retested around 659 or so. If we look at the daily candles, I mean, everything looks solid. I mean, we got a bit of a consolidation here and there, which I mean, Friday just almost a little bit short of the highs of Thursday's highs, but that actual red day that we seen on Wednesday, I mean, it got bought up fairly quickly, showed strength, and we actually continued on the move to the upside. So, one thing I've been saying over the past couple of weeks, probably the last month or so, just keep buying calls until calls don't work anymore. And once we see that, then we'll, consider pivoting to the downside. But as of right now, like I said, it still looks strong. At most, we might see some sideways consolidation between 659 and 665 until we start taking our lows. But I mean, I just see some consolidation right now. Probably see prices just kind of hover within these levels, and then if it breaks to the downside, then we can start looking at some rollover, possibly some more moves down. So that's the SPY. The Qs have been looking pretty healthy too. Yeah, so I'm still on the daily chart. As you can see, that dipped the same day that the SPY dipped. Qs got bought up too. It's actually still making all-time highs when we just looked at the SPY on the daily chart, and it's actually been trading sideways. So the Qs are actually a little bit stronger or more of an uptrend right now than the actual SPY is. So 601.97. I'll definitely be careful around these areas right here. That's a rejection spot for me. I think we still have a gap somewhere that needs to be filled to the downside. Yeah, we got a couple of them. So this is the most recent one that we have had. This is between 591 and 593. So we had a small one that got filled and then it pushed back up off of it. If we start breaking back down below 594, then we can start looking for this to be filled. And then this should just be my area that I watch to see if we make higher lows. We made one here, here, and if we come and make a giant dip back down here, then it could be one somewhere along here, depending on how the trend just follows. So it may actually be something like that. And that's around 10-1. So like I said, a couple of weeks leading into the beginning of October, if we see something like that, and I'm just kind of guessing, if we continue to trend to the upside and then prices start to get drained back down, kind of that angle that it could fall at. So overall, it still looks healthy. Pullback, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised. One other indicator that I look at for this is SQQ. I like to mark my charts out. The white lines kind of give me a priority sense of where hard support and things are supposed to be. And come on, I need to 1 second. Let me mute this. Cause somebody going hard. Cause CD Lamb ain't performing like he need to.
What is he
Watch
hurt?
the same thing,
I
man.
don't know. I just seen Jay just like, man, come on, CD. And my boys, they gonna do what they need to do, but we gonna hop on that one at a time being. Right now we on these charts, you feel me? So
Yes.
SQQ, the white lines kind of give me a sense of severity as far as support goes. So right now, even if we do dump down a couple of more cents on SQQ, I think that we could possibly see a rebound on this, which means the Q's actually going to have to come down once this comes back up. This is the inverse leveraged ETF. So this is one thing I'm watching it. Reason why I do watch this is just because it's not as volatile as SQQ, and you can kind of track the prices a little better than trying to track, a super volatile Q price action. So just keep your eyes on SQQ. If you want to hedge something, this would be a nice way to hedge. Buy some shares or buy some calls on this, and at least ride it back up to 16, 18, which would be a nice, possibly dollar move from where it could drop and recover back to the upside. So I think anywhere between 16, 18 and 15, 21, that's a good spot for buyers to step in if you want to take calls on this. And once it starts to fill this gap up here where you see the yellow price markers at, then that's when you'll just want to kind of phase out of it or look for some recovery on the Qs also. So that's just my take on the ETFs and SQQ. We had some interesting news in the economic market recently. Anybody want to weigh in on some of the things that we came across as of lately? Fridge, fish.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, we had the rate cut last week, which was pretty expected, I think, which was, markets liked that, which is absolutely amazing. I was looking at interest rates between now and December, and there's an 80% chance of 2 rate cuts between now and December now and the end of the year, basically, which is pretty interesting. And, it's all coming off of the jobs market data that we have. We all know the labor market is not doing too hot right now. And even though inflation is higher than the Fed wants, with jobs data coming in and just kind of really, crapping the bed, basically, that's kind of why the Fed's like, hey, we should probably start cutting rates a little bit, try to boost up the labor market a little bit to kind of see what's going on. Now, I think I'm looking at the economic data from last week because I haven't had much time recently to look at stuff because, my job is killing me here, I feel like. But jobs data actually last week wasn't awful. It actually came in a little bit better than expected. Continuous jobless claims came in about 30,000 lower than expected, which is good. Initial jobless claims came in about 10,000 lower than before, which is good. Obviously, the revisions with the labor market and the jobs data is always the big benefiting factors. The revisions, that's what people really care about because the jobs data that comes in is always being revised because not everybody turns it in at the same time and gives the data to the people, to the Fed at the same time and everybody else like that. So, I mean, it's interesting, the market still, like you said, I'm actually shocked that we're still hitting these all-time highs right now. because we're at this crucial point right now, and the market is just feeding off of it still and just taking it to higher highs every single time. It's absolutely insane for me. I would have thought there'd be a little bit of a pullback at this point, but not really, considering that we're at all-time highs. Labor market is starting to crap the bed. Inflation is still a bit higher than before. Rate cuts usually signal that we need to have a turnaround in the economy and stuff like that. So I'm honestly I'm not really sure what to expect. Retail sales came in better than expected, so people are still spending in terms of what they're showing here in terms of the data. It's a very interesting time to be in right now, I think, for our economy overall. I don't know what to really expect coming in the next couple weeks here. PCE data comes out this Friday, I believe, which is pretty interesting to think about. Because that's your major inflation data point for the Fed usually to watch and to see what's going on. And I'm just honestly, I'm not really quite sure how to really interpret this, because honestly, I would have thought that rate cuts would have, calmed the market down a little bit. And I just log in my portfolio and I just see it kind of pushing up. I'm like, dude, this is like, what is going on here? So it's very, very interesting to see what's going on in the markets, personally speaking. But economic data, at least this week's a little bit of a calmer one, in terms of what comes out. Like I said, the big one that we have really is Jerome Powell speaks Tuesday at
Oh,
1:35. I don't know why. I wonder why, but yeah, I mean, a little bit. It's an interesting week that we had last week. I was honestly shocked, and my portfolio loves it for sure. My portfolio loves the money going up and stuff like that. But I'm still not optimistic right now about where we're going, but that's just me personally.
Well,
I'm
go ahead, fish. My bad.
I was just gonna say I'm kind of with Fridge. I'm not real optimistic on where we're going. I do think that we go up, but I'm not optimistic about that upward momentum. I think when we come down, it's going to be real difficult.
I mean, how you guys feel about like the month of September historically, like supposedly being the worst month of the year.
Yeah, usually it is. I know that. Everybody always says that people usually sell off in September. Like, I think historically, over the last 100 years, averages return is like down 0.5 or 0.7%, I believe, in the indexes, or at least on the SPY, I believe. So something like that, and obviously, I mean, we can use as much historical data as we want, but year to year date, going year over year, we definitely could have, a green month of September, which is interesting to me. Obviously, everybody always knows that's usually historically bad, but I think Fish and all of us were talking about it last week, Realty, about what's going to happen, in the holiday months. Also, we're going to get that holiday rally again, November, December, optimism, hopium, whatever. I don't know if we get a September green. I don't know if that means October is going to be a rough one for us, or maybe we're not going to get that nice rally that we get to in the holiday season. I'm not really quite sure, honestly, but yes, historically September is usually really bad for us, but right now it's actually doing pretty nicely. I'm not going to lie.
Plan to
Yeah.
say spooky
So
October.
right. So basically, the months that end in BER are known as bear months, right? So you have like September, October, November, December, right? End of the year is always like a little bit bearish. People are taking profits, tax loss harvesting, such things like that. Well, now what do we have? Now we've got a year where the first half of the year wasn't as great as a lot of people are used to. So there may not be a bunch of tax loss harvesting. You
Hmm.
know, I really don't know. That first half of that year could have thrown off the typical cycle, and it could have made the second half a bullish half of the year when it's typically supposed to be bearish.
Well, I mean, so check this out. I guess when you say it like that, how I look at it is, well, I guess they might have took their losses at the beginning of the year. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we almost took out 52-week lows, so back here, even though we crashed, when did the year start? So the year start over here, we was playing around at 609. So we came all the way down to 482. We took over 609, and then now we're at 663, 665. So in my head, man, somebody's gonna start taking profit because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think that we was gonna be crushing all time highs this year.
No
Yeah.
way.
No, absolutely not.
No. Yeah.
I mean that
I
was
think
that was absolutely shocking.
what
In my opinion, there's no reason that the market should have been doing that.
Yeah, I
yeah. What go
go
ahead.
ahead, Ryan.
Well, just what gets my attention is like everyone's kind of very comfortable. If we look on after hour when everyone's like, well, September's supposed to be bearish, get out of here. Like when we're getting so comfortable that we just think it's a bull market all the time, it's not a good sign,
Right,
you
right.
know.
And that's just that
So that's
psychology
all for
part.
me.
Yeah, that's that psychology part playing in, just paying attention to the masses. Every time it's too much attention gravitated towards one way a stock should go or the direction of the market, then you always start looking for, all right, it's starting to be too good to be true. And vice
Right.
versa. Everybody just thought that the market was going to be going down a couple of weeks ago when we had, all these earnings and stuff being related to it, and we just kept going to the upside. So, like when people get too optimism, it's like we were saying, hey, when people, they just too comfortable. It's something up. So,
Yeah.
I think I think what it is really that's also really like interesting is the psychology right now that we're facing from this whole calendar year, because we had the big soft in April with tariffs and stuff like that. And then and then ever since then, right? Ever since we had that rally back up, and we basically just, broke even and rallied past, though that low point still back in April. Now it's just like, how is retail gonna, what retail has been always doing ever since we've recovered is buy the dip, down 5%,
Yeah.
buy the dip, down 10%, buy the dip. Like the retail keeps buying the dip at like record numbers this year. So it leads me to that kind of thinking where it's like, when is this huge pullback going to happen? Because we're going to say something crazy comes out this week. We pull back 5% this week. What's going to happen? Buy the dip, bring it right back up. Happens again, into October, into November. Every time it's coming down 5-10%, people are just buying up the dip, and there's money just being pumped into the market because they don't want to miss out on the historic rally that we have had since April again. Right? We had the historic rally. We recovered like 50% in like a month time. So if you bought in at 490, you would have made, a crap ton of money on a lot of these big tech companies, stuff like that. And now everyone has FOMO period of, I don't want to miss out on the next dip opportunity. So Apple comes down 10%, buy the dip. Nvidia comes down 20%, buy the dip. And people are going to keep on doing that until there's nothing left to buy. And I think maybe that's when when those institutions and those hedge funds are going to pull their money out and be like, well, we've taken all their funds out. We've taken all the money from retail. Now we can dump the market and buy back in cheaper again. So the question is going to be, when does retail, in my opinion, stop buying the dip? People keep doing it. Margin is like maxed out, like all-time highs on people right now, where it's like, I know what, I think it's like $1 trillion or whatever the number was. Maybe it was a billion. I don't remember. But
Damn.
whatever it was, in terms of like how much, I don't know what it was, but when do we get to a point when retail cannot buy the dip anymore, and then it's just going to just fall out from underneath everybody? That's where I'm wondering where the question is going to be, I feel.
Yeah. That's a fair.
Next year.
Right.
It's
That's what I think. I think for the rest of this year, we keep sailing,
Mm-hmm.
and the bottom starts to fall next year.
But then you think about this idea, right, where now people are starting to say, like, next year, what's next year for a lot of people that people are going to be focusing on? Midterm elections for, the Trump administration and stuff like that. And people are out speculating, saying, is this market going to collapse? Is Trump going to let the market collapse during a midterm point of his election, right? Because he's been boosting about how amazing the stock market's been with him in office and how he's done this and how he's done that. What's going to, people are saying, like, is he going to let the market fall during the the midterm point, right? And I mean, that's the speculation that we obviously can never predict and what's going to happen here. But will he let the market fall? Because it needs to fall. It's overheating. We're going to get to this huge overheating point where it needs to stop and it needs to cool off. And I hate to say that for our economy, but it needs to cool off. It's like if you run a car for 15 hours straight or 24 hours straight and it overheats, at some point you got to stop it. And he's not letting the market stop. And that's why, is he going to let the market stop next year and then have breathing room for the next, then to have the next, swing up to the higher side? I don't know. But that's what people are now starting to say, like, oh, well, next year he's not going to let it happen because next year it's the midterms for him and stuff like that. So I don't know anymore about what to really look at because this is just, it's insane for me. I can't really come up with an idea right now for where we're going to go.
I'm thinking we start. I'm thinking that we cool down in the next. I'm gonna say this week. By the end of this upcoming week, I think the market will be cooling off, and I think certain stocks are gonna perform better. I always say watch the Mag 7 and see which ones are maintaining their price action while the rest of the market is dipping. Um, I think we're gonna see something like that because it's got to be a controlled move back down instead of just allowing it to just completely just for them to just drain the market again. So that's my logic on it. I think we do start seeing like a cool down on Qs, but I think it's gonna be a few actual tickers that's gonna hold up and it's gonna perform, a little bit better. I mean, take for instance, Hood just got pushed into the S&P 500, right? So, that's another way that they'll be able to control or balance the SPY coming down and going back up too. When you have, tech selling off, but then you got something like Hood that's in the finance industry or sector that could be doing better. So it'll be interesting to see how everything flows once the market does start to cool off a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things where, and you could be right, maybe you might see that short term, maybe the market is going to have this short term cool off period before November, December holiday rallies, who really quite knows? Because historically, markets are known to do very well during Thanksgiving time, during Christmas time, the Santa Claus rally. Do these markets have this cool off period now for the next leg up into the holiday season? Right? I mean, is that where we could possibly be going for the end of the year before we make new all-time highs for the end of the year? I wouldn't be shocked if we hit all-time highs before the end of the year, obviously, and we hit these new all-time highs in terms of the S&P 500 by the holiday, by the Santa Claus rally. I wouldn't be surprised by that whatsoever. But it's just, are we going to have this cool-off period short term, then rally up to all-time highs end of the year, and then like Fish is saying, do we pull back next year and then have that really big dip opportunity for the markets? If I could call that one, I would be on Wall Street probably every single day of my life. So.
Oh man.
Oh,
So, um, I was gonna ask quantum stocks. We saw a unusually big spike in quantum stocks Friday. One of the ones that I was paying attention to was I consider Microsoft like a quantum stock to play, like a large cap quantum name to play, along with like Amazon. I think Amazon has what, or is it Google has Gemini? Which one? One of them
Google has
has.
I think
Gemini.
that
Yeah,
Google.
yeah. And so, I watched Microsoft contracts go from like 500 to $1,000 in a span of like 5 minutes, and I think atypically, what's his name? Fish?
Atypically erect.
Erect. Yeah,
Atypically erect. Yeah, he's a Rigetti bull.
yeah, he commented on one of my old RGTI plays, and man, RGTI has just been going just absolutely nuts, bro.
It went in. It went insane. It went crazy, crazy, crazy.
Bro. So, are are you in any quantum stocks? Because I've been trying to see where's to go. The thing is with me is just I know quantum has a big reputation to live up to, and I'm just what makes me nervous is that every time it spikes up like that, it normally cools off fairly quickly. So, um, Other than RGTI, is there any other quantum stocks that you guys like? Even in the chat.
So I'll tell you this right now in my Roth IRA retirement account, I'm in quantum ETFs. QTUM defines quantum ETF. It is up year to date 28% compared to the S&P 500 at like 14-15% right now. So what I have been putting money into is the ETF version of quantum computing. So that way I get the exposure to a little bit of everything. And I've been loving the rewards so far. My portfolio is up like 27% year to date in terms of my retirement account. My fun account has been, all over the place, but my retirement account and stuff like that has been doing very, very well. And it's a great ETF where you get a little bit of exposure to everything. And you're not just dumping a bunch of money into one thing like Rigetti Computing or IonQ or something like that. So QTUM is the ticker, and it has been doing phenomenal this year compared to the S&P 500.
Okay. I think, and I've looked at a lot of these um, tickers. Somebody just said QUBT. I was looking at RGTI real quick. Right now, I think it's extremely overbought. Um, it's a gap down here around like that 22, between 22.51 and 21.78. So I just think it's running extremely high right now. It could continue to push, but I just think the time to get in at the moment, honestly, is just I would want to see it come down and retest this 22 before I consider good interest to get in. Um, it consolidated nicely here at this $19 level before it decided to make that rally to the upside. So I would wait till it cool down and wait for a little bit of the dust to settle before jumping into that RGTI play. And the same thing with QUBT. I think somebody said they already in here though. Yeah.
Yeah.
B say he got a average of 16.14. So I mean, hey boy, you sitting nicely. You bought it at a very nice time because it consolidated. It consolidated between that 16 level. So yeah, you caught it right as it made that little cup formation down here, and you made a nice average down at this range right here for that just elephant move back up to the upside. So that's a beautiful play that you're in right now, bro. Absolutely beautiful. Um, it got a couple of downside, you know, gaps, but I wouldn't too worried about that right now until it comes back below 13. If it comes back below 13, then that'd be a nice starter position long term. Below 13, and then you'll be able to catch that dip on the average now if it comes down here. Sometimes, these gaps don't get filled until a stock gets so high, and years later they do like a reverse split or something like that, and it comes down and fills it. But other than that, below 16 or right at 16, I think that's pretty dope. Bread Boy said Oracle. I think this is something we was talking about Friday before it closed. All right, so I
And I know a lot of
asked,
people like Oracle. A lot of people like Oracle because I think the rumor of TikTok, right?
yeah,
Royalty
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
acquiring.
I think somebody here was talking about Oracle being a
Yeah. Bread Boy brought him up.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
So
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say there's gonna be six U.S. board of directors, and Oracle is one of the top contenders for a board seat.
What were you gonna say though, Rob?
with Oracle, it's a nice little bottom. The same way we just looked at on QUBT, you probably seeing like a nice a nice dip here below 318. So of course we saw that huge gap of post ER. Even though the shit red, he's a genius at what he's doing as far as how he's maneuvering the game. The stock flew up. It made highs of 345. So right now, I know a lot of you guys faded the move back down to the downside. It slowly started filling the gap. Now we seeing kind of a bottom here at this 291 level. So we could be looking at some accumulation right up in here. So what would probably help it is if it gapped up above this 318 level and then it took off from there and retested like 336 and 345. Those are my two immediate targets on Oracle. We can break out of this little accumulation zone right here. If it breaks out of it, I like the 282 level to see buyers step in. That's kind of like 50% of this gap up level from here to here. So we'll just kind of see if they'll bite on this 50% level, and if not, then I got a GAN fan support level around 272. But ultimately, I want to see this accumulation zone hold. We saw a gap up, small gap ups twice. It filled it and it ran back up. If we get out of 318, 319, then like I said, 336 to 345 will be our next targets on the upside. So I know Bread Boy say he's in a couple. That's gonna be dope if that plays out. Terrified, what's good, brother? Humor and ACHR. Anybody still in humor?
I had $3 human calls that expired on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were looking good until Huma did that dilution. Then they were not looking good.
Think about what the problem quantum solves computing problem for the whole if we can migrate to quantum, they do the energy. Yeah. And what McLaren is saying, the thing with me and quantum is I think quantum needs more, they need more to show and not more to talk about. And then it's like a lot of hype that's behind it. And I think they just need to show like something, that we can all just look at and see how powerful quantum computing really will be. I mean, if somebody else
Yeah, I
knows a little bit more, they can tap in with it. But that's just my look on it. I just don't think it's enough that we can just be like, damn, that quantum computing chip that they got, it's just really like solid. Like Microsoft came out with that. They supposed to be developing their own quantum chip, but I mean, I don't think it's in play yet. So
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like it's very, very like very early stages. Like again, like you're saying, like we haven't actually seen what it can actually really do yet, or the true potential of it. But I'm thinking, getting invested into it, it's something you can look at for the next 10, 20 years, where you will hopefully that it's going to take a lot of time for people to start to really kind of get into it. But in the long term, if if you're not looking at retiring in the next 5 years, if you're looking at 20-ish years or so, then I think quantum can definitely be the huge next big play to get into for sure. But it's just like the AI thing, same thing. I mean, AI is taking so long for it to even kind of develop and to build and stuff like that. It wasn't built in one night kind of thing. So I think quantum's kind of the same kind of idea in this case. It's gonna take a long time to do it, but I think when people eventually can start to really show what the capabilities of it, I could see it doing very, very well long term.
man, I got Q chart pulled up. My God, that shit has been running. Goodness. This bullish engulfing candle right here. That's why I always try to play, these candles right here. When I see these two pattern candles right here, I try to take it and just go long, because when they play out, man, they play out. It's almost another one, but it didn't quite take out the lows of that previous day. If it had gave another signal like that, I probably would have been like, hey, you know, disregard the technicals. We got a nice little bullish engulfing. Watch it take off. But whoever's in Ion Q, if you've been in, especially with this nice accumulation, it's been probably a 6 month. Let me see. So from May all the way up to now, it kind of accumulated around this 45, 47, 36 level. and now it's sitting at $70. So that's a crazy move to the upside. Even if it continues to push to the upside, my next target is around like 81. I wouldn't chase it. If I was looking for an entry, I'll probably wait until I see it back around this 50 mark to see if it can convert this right here. That was a accumulation zone. If it could use this as support to bounce back up, even if it dips back down in here, that's still a setup for buyers to step in and buy that dip for the move right back up. So I think that'd be pretty dope. Um, let me see. Let me see if this would be a good example. So I was talking to, I can't remember. She's one of the members. She texted about it. I was supposed to do a class on my Fibonacci setup. Let me ask my people. Do y'all mind if I do like a quick little rundown real quick and show everybody, how I use it somewhat?
No
Go
worries,
right
man.
ahead.
Go right ahead, dude.
Okay, cool, cool. So I'm gonna show you guys my Fibonacci setup real quick. You know, why I mark certain colors the way that I do, how I pick out the levels, what matters, what doesn't. So real simple. Fibonacci is basically it captures the highs and the lows. It gives you retracement levels in between, and then it gives you targets once it breaks out below that zero, which was the lows or the highs. That's the one, which is how I use it. So if I'm gonna use my fibs, what I'm pretty much gonna do, I'm gonna look for the bigger time frame first. Sometimes I go out to the month. Sometimes I go from the week, and I scale my way down time frames like I'm using the top down analysis. So start from the bigger frames, scroll down to the lower frames. So if I'm looking at the monthly, I'll just capture the high and the lows, and then I'll play everything going forth based off of these levels. So real easy. This is just one. A lot of times I have multiple Fibonacci's, which is why I draw the dotted lines, and then I delete the actual things like that because I'm a color code 'em. So I'm drawing this off the monthly. I got highs of 54, lows of 1790, and if I just do that in itself, just that alone, I can go down to the daily chart and I can trade based off of those levels very easily because they're respected. Now, there's more Fibonacci levels than this. If I go and I look at the settings, I mean, there's a ton of them. I have a ton of them, but when I first started using them, I just labeled all the ones that I like using, and I found the sweet spot for what I like. So mine is real simple. I don't have the golden pocket, which is the 0.618. I like to keep all my Fibonacci levels spread out, but don't get me wrong, the golden pocket retracement levels, which is usually between, I like 50 and 0.50 and 0.618. I like those two levels as golden pocket ranges, but I don't use the 618 no more. So my base, my just starter levels are going to be 0, 50, um, 23.6, 78.6, and 1. So these are my base, and then I just start all over above 1, and vice versa when it's below 0. So how I use fibs is if something is bullish, I'm going to always set my zeros at the bottom, my ones at the top. And when you see me mark my levels, you're going to see me mark orange for the highs, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to mark green for my bullish levels in between the 23.6, the 78.6, and then you're going to see me mark white for my 50% retracement. That lets me know if it drops below here, as long as it's still green lines around them, I'm good. I'm still bullish. The only time I'm flipping these colors is if it breaks below this 0, then I'm gonna flip the actual Fibonacci setup. I will, what is it? I'll reverse the prices, and then the prices will flip. Zeros will be at the top, ones will be at the bottom, and then they'll give me levels down here. In this case, a 1.50% level is in the negative, so I know it's not gonna drop that low. So I'll probably look at something like 9.21, which is a 1.236 retracement level. If I was trying to buy the dip. But other than that, since it's bullish, I'll flip it back to the right side up. I have my levels mapped out. And then once it gets above the highs and it starts to trade beyond this, that 1.2376, I'll mark that as yellow. And then the 1.50, those are normally going to be my levels of, rejection, or I look for profit taking to start around there. So, what's up, bud? My bad, my son just walked in. But these are gonna be my levels for profit taking, and then when I get rid of it, bam, that's when you see the colors that I have. So all I did was I took a monthly chart. I drew Fibonacci levels based off of that. Once I see how these prices, if I was to take away my game fan, which are the blue and purple lines, it'll still line up based off of that monthly highs and lows that I marked in between that. So you can see that 50 level respected amazingly. And if you would have bought on this dip each time, then you would eventually caught the ride back up to the upside. You see, once it broke those highs here at 54.74, then you seen it pop up. Right now when it starts to get to yellow, that's caution. When it gets to red, it's running hot. I'll look for retracements back down to possibly back down to this 54 level, but sometimes you will see prices consolidate between 73, well, the 1.236 and the 1.50 levels. If they want to hold the stock price up, probably burn some premiums, kind of like we saw Apple over the past month. It'll just stay, even though we trying to short it back down to the reasonable level, they'll just hold it where they want to. So that's just real simple way. And sometimes you'll just see multiple colors. And the reason why you'll see multiple colors is because I might draw one on the monthly, then I might come over to the weekly, and I'll find, another high and low there, which in this case, my second high and low probably would be from here. I'm drawing it wrong myself. Oh, never mind. I know it's wrong. I still got it on reverse. I don't got it on reverse. That's what happened. Okay. But yeah, I'll go and find another high and low. Then I'll use those same levels, within to, start tracking it. So the thing is, you never really know when it's gonna stop, because you have to know which Fibonacci levels are being respected, in that particular algo. So even though the smaller that the time frames go, the more that it'll run. This one's already rejecting at 250, which this bigger one tells us that it can go up to 73, but it's still hot. You'll still look for the price to eventually come back down and retest the 1 or the 1.50. The 50% levels on each one are always going to be my retest levels. So that's what I'll check out. That's how I draw it out. And each one, when people ask me like, how you line your fib levels up, it's just pretty much what you see. And the more you do it, the more it makes sense. The better the levels get. You start knowing. You just have to start filling it out. All right, I know this is getting too much. I have 3 different Fibonacci levels marked out, and all of them are showing that is getting oversold or overbought. Those increase your probabilities for the trade to work out in your favor, because you have multiple Fibonacci levels telling you, all right, red, 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 yellow. It's coming back down pretty soon. We saw this recently with the way that I have MSTR marked out. So we haven't quite saw it drop within these dip ranges, which is green. But we seen it kind of consolidate here And that's just because it has like a psychological support right here. Prices just won't drop below 318, 319 right now for MSTR. So even though you might be waiting on it for a while, which we even took, a couple of us even tried to take some MSTR calls here and kind of got chopped up, with the current dips back down to like the 319, 320 range. But as you can see, it spikes up and it squeezes out those people that's been shorting it, but eventually comes back down and retests these levels eventually just because it's still in a level of accumulation. Because the stock's been trading to the downside. Yeah, we have a little uptrend here, but we haven't quite broke out of this range that we have, and this will probably be the neckline that we need to just take out at 365, which it'll probably shoot toward this gap up here once it does start to break out. But whenever I see my stocks trading in a bunch of overbought Fibonacci levels, I'm always very cautious of where I'm buying at because I don't want to buy when it's in a ton already. I either want to wait till it gets, somewhere where there's some orange at or some green or white. So if you ever see me wait on a particular, entry exit, that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on something to show me, a clean setup that's guaranteed to at least pay out in the next 2 weeks. So that's the Fibonacci setup that I use, and it's not hard. It just takes time to really go and mark out the levels and find the highs and lows that really stand out to you, so that you can have some clear profit taking levels when you are trading options. So that way you don't hold too long or you don't buy too soon. Let's see. Anybody got anything to add on to that? If you need to. No.
I just want to see it. I just want to see it shoot up, man.
Oh, you still in MSTR?
Oh man, yep. My shares say, "Please, Lord, let me see the moon."
Oh well, I mean that's fine though. I mean, if you're buying contracts, like we tried I think it was like a 1080 leap. I don't know. I think it was like a
Yeah.
1080 leap, and it was getting chewed up. So I haven't messed with any unless I just see something just ready to break out. But I mean, them shares, I don't think that you can never go wrong with that. I looked at MSTR pretty recently.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's getting, in my opinion, it's getting to or it was getting to a good
Well,
buy zone.
yeah, my bad, not MSTR, MSTY. But
Oh, MSTY. Oh,
yeah,
that's definitely in your buy zone.
man. So I looked at that. I haven't paid much attention to how much they're paying out as of recently, but it's definitely within I think a good level to buy, depending on what the dividend payout is as of right now.
Yeah, lately it's not been much. It's been like a little over $1.
Well, I mean I think that's still decent for where it's at though.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was expecting it to be at 250, 275, maybe $3 by this point, and instead it's just it's not there.
Yeah. Eesh.
But as we
QUT.
say, stocks only go up. So
Facts. Facts. QUTM. Fridge, was this you?
hmm
QUTM.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
QTUM.
Oh,
QUTM.
well, this is
Okay.
also an ETF.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
gonna
this is also
say.
one of it. Yeah, the one I got is QTUM is my ETF I have.
QT.
Q. Yeah, quantum.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
yeah,
cool,
defines.
cool.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one I've gotten into, and I've had ever since like at least the end of last year, I believe. So that one's been doing very, very nicely. It's up like like 28%
It's doing
over the
nice.
year so far.
It's 50.
Yeah,
It's knocking on 50, 52 week highs.
yeah.
That's nice.
damn.
Yeah, it's a quantum computing play, and it's a little bit less risk because an ETF, so you don't have to put all the money into like picking specific quantum ones. I can tell you right now what they have, how they're broken down. I know Ion Q is definitely in there. I can tell you what the breakdown is. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you what we got. It's very, very nice actually. I really like it. My average right now is $85 a share right now, so it's up 24% for me. So we are looking at top 10 holdings. Rigetti Computing 2.41%. Oracle 1.85, Baidu 1.71, Intel 1.63, D-Wave Quantum 1.6, IonQ 2.13, Micron 1.61, Google 1.57. So it's not even like it's very centered on like one stock where it's like 8% here or 10% there. It's the highest holding is like 2.5%. So it's nice. It's a nice diversified ETF that we have, that I've been buying into, at least I should say, and it's done quite well. And I've really, really, have loved looking at it. If it goes down, I buy up more. I maxed out my Roth like earlier this year, so now I'm waiting, obviously, to deploy more cash in for next year. But that means the cash that I have left over now, right now, I can put into like my high yield, put into my other accounts. Until the new year comes around for my Roth. But yeah, I absolutely love quantum computing in terms of like this ETF has been doing phenomenal for me. Can't complain.
It's been pushing, absolutely pushing. So it's not showing anything of a downtrend as of right now. It might get exhausted pretty soon, but other than that, it's been on a tear, absolute
Yeah.
ripper.
Yeah, man,
Okay.
absolutely love it. It's a great one to get into. And like I said, it's not like there's a huge holding in one position. It's got Oracle in there too. So it's not like it's only a bunch of like riskier plays where it's like, IonQ and Rigetti. It also has Oracle in there. It has what else? The other one I said? Google is in there as well. So like it does have like those like nice, well-known mega cap companies also in there. It's not just like a bunch of riskier quantum computing plays. So it's very, very nice to me, I will say.
Okay. Let's see. Gio say, "How is Amazon looking to start the week off?" How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about Amazon? I like Amazon. I actually do.
Like overall, I mean,
Yeah,
Big
like
fan.
Amazon. Everybody knows Amazon, dude. I had an Amazon box brought up to my classroom, and kids were like, "What'd you get at Amazon?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I didn't even buy this thing." But like, everybody knows the name. Everybody knows who they are and what they stand for and stuff like that. I mean, they're a company that you can just buy, set it, and forget it. You can just buy on the dips over and over again, long term. I mean, I just don't see anybody. I don't see anybody overtaking Amazon for many, many years. I mean, their name is just everywhere. You look at a box, my complex, there's like 5 different Amazon trucks here every single day delivering packages. Like it's a quality company for long term, 100%.
at Gio, I like Amazon. Amazon was probably one of my plays. I think should have already been at like 239. Yeah, it should have already been up here, but it's in a big consolidated zone right now. Um, let's see. As you can see, it's a lot of bulls within this area. Gaps here, gaps here. Um, and this was a massive run when it came up to this upside. It went from 226 to 230 and then continued to run all the way up to 239. So I definitely think that these between 236 and 239 is gonna be my targets where I think long should be able to get to. I just think the only problem is once we get up here, retest this supply level right here. I think that's where the stall is probably gonna come in at. But even if we can gap up above there, I think I still have higher levels. You know, I mean, call it crazy, but if good catalyst comes through 245 to 241, we'll see that Google effect that we recently saw, where Google just went absolutely nuts, and we see something like that. I think Cube Master had actually, gave his little target on it, and then since then it's just been straight mooning to the upside. So I'm thinking that we probably could see something like that very soon on Amazon. I think we just need the Bulls just need to get this thing back up in 237. It's 236 to 239 level, and we can see that breakout start to happen above that. So you got 230 and 240 calls. That's cool. 229 is where I've been seeing a lot of buying opportunities there right here. So if it does come back below here, I think that we should be able to snatch up some more. I think I have 240 calls that I've been
What? I'm sorry.
now go what's up, fish?
I was just going to ask what your expiry was on those.
They're all 10
Are they
20.
leaked or?
Nah. 1024.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I've been looking at no. I've been looking at Amazon 235 calls for 1024. Right now, buyers have been stepping in pretty constantly with those contracts roughly around like the 640 range. So anything below like 650, I think those 235 calls have been going on the still, and they've been ranging between 640 and 740. So it's like an easy $100 move. Yeah,
Um,
that'd be an easy $100 move, and then if it breaks out, it'll go even higher. The highs right now are around like $900.
Crazy. Um, one thing that I do know for Amazon, and I can't really get into it, is when it comes times for earnings, I'm just going to be piling up on puts for Amazon next earnings. I'm going to pile up on puts, and my source is just trust me, bro. That's it. That's it. That's my source. My
Hey,
source is trust me, bro. And some people know what that means. A lot of times when I say that, the shit ends up working out.
all right, so hell those so their next earnings is the day before those calls expire. So shit, that'll be perfect. If you can,
That
if
will be,
if we can take it the 1024 expiration date and we can ride it on the pre earnings pump and it goes haywire and goes to the upside, then I think hell we can dump them that week and flip them.
bro. It's like the perfect storm.
We can ride to the top, take profit, and then just buy a couple for collateral. And if it flushes, then it's back to the downside. So
Man,
let's see how that play out. Let's definitely see how that plays out. It's a nice little trend. It's trying to flip this supply level here, right here, at 231. It's trying to get above that. So like I said, if it needs to squeeze out, I think if it breaks not even 236, if it comes and break this 239 level, I think that'd be pretty dope. That may lead to 52 week highs. No, 241 is so. We just have to watch it. GR, I like it. Like I said, them 235 calls, even if it comes up to 240, we'll be able to ride those all the way and get in the money and get a little extra. And we'll be able to get that little moon shot to the upside. So, and then once it gets up there, then we can flip those and we can buy these puts that Fish just mentioned a couple minutes ago. So,
I
like
don't
I
have a
said,
price target on those puts, by the way.
say you
So
don't.
go. Yeah,
Oh,
I do not have a price target on those puts, but
but shit,
I'll be going.
I was gonna say once it get there, hey, shit, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll figure it out. So, I think Terrified mentioned humor site is actually going back up.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So it actually kind of filled this dip, but it's getting bought for the move back up. So watch for the pinch prices.
I
Let's
wonder if they could be making a little cup and handle right there.
Yeah, it could. These are the three areas. So I think without a doubt it's gonna retest 243. We'll see how it react around here, see if it gets stalled out between this 243, 286, and how that works out. Um, but if the buyers continue to step in there, I mean this is a nice little bottom, to be honest. So that's a dope little buy zone right there, to be honest. So we'll see if that accumulation and that little dip is gonna be enough to get it out this, and then once it breaks out above $3.25, I think that this could start to build some support here and keep pushing its way to the upside. So I wonder what his averages is. Okay, it's got a little something going. Archer. Yes, I got too many Archer Aviation. Not too bad. So it's still trying to fill this little gap here. I don't see any patterns. That's just indicating anything right now. All right, cool. So I mean, let's see if he can take out these highs right here at 1065. So if it can take out these highs, then I think we can see a move continuation up to 1165, and that'll set up a nice bullish engulfing candle if we can close, because we got 8 days left on this monthly candle. So it's already retested the lows previous. Well, it's already broken beyond previous candles lows and gotten bought back up. So if it can go all the way up and break these previous candles highs and hold, then I think that'll set up for a nice bullish engulfing candle going into October. And from there, we could see prices start to build above here on this little dip area right there. And that'll be a nice little signal to continue to push his way to the upside of Archer. So that monthly candle is looking good. As long as it closes green and possibly takes out those highs, that'd be a nice indication for more strength the following month and probably on to the rest of the year. Because honestly, if we finna go into a cool down with like large cap stocks, then you're gonna see money flooded into something else. Probably like those you know dividend stocks like Coca-Cola and stocks like that, and then these low caps, stocks that have potential for growth or not just a lot of risk involved. You can see money start to flow into those, and then we'll see those start to move. Probably along with some of the altcoins too, Fish. I think Fred, you played some
Yep.
altcoins too, didn't you, last year?
Some what? Say again?
I say, didn't you trade a few altcoins last year?
Yeah, I traded a little. I mean, I traded a little bit, a few altcoins. I'm really, really bullish right now on altcoin WorldCoin right now for long term. But that's one where everyone's like, "Oh, it's a scam. Oh, it's this." I'm like, "Hey, man, it is what it is." But I'm bullish on it long term. It's backed by Sam Altman's company. Everybody says whatever they want to say about it, but honestly, like I made a whole video about it. It's some really, really cool stuff here with like identification and proof of human network and all that kind of wild stuff. So it's like $1.40 a coin right now, I believe, as an altcoin. But I had to obviously like buy and then transfer it over. But I mean, I'm in a couple altcoins in there. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not full pouring my entire portfolio into altcoins, but having a little bit of money don't hurt. Doesn't hurt anybody, right? And this coin can go as high as $10. Its all-time highs is at $1.40. So looking at a possible 10x, maybe long term. But I'm just it's a little bit of fun money to throw into it for sure. But yeah, altcoins definitely have some room to run. Usually, I feel like I know that people are talking about now. I believe Fish that it's altcoin season, or it's going to be
Right.
altcoin season or something like that. I believe.
We're coming into altcoin season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't hurt to throw a little bit of money. A couple $100 here or there. And if 10x is great, you turn a couple hundred into a couple thousand, and if not, hold long term. So
what about y'all in the
Because
chat?
we're going into. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking. You go ahead, Fish. But I said, anybody in the chat, y'all jumping in any altcoins this season?
And I was just going to say that this weekend I just started a position in Solana that I'll just accumulate whenever it dips. If we're going into altcoin season, I figure I need to have some Solana.
Yeah. Um,
I own XLM and Algorand.
I used to like XLM for a little minute.
I've had them since like
Yeah.
21. Just
Oh,
sitting
wow.
on them.
I'm holding
Yeah.
XLM right now. I'm holding them from long term also for payment methods in the future and all that for sure.
I see.
Yeah, I bought
Right.
XLM at like 11 cents.
I see Beast talking about XRP. I had some XRP before they got hit with that little what it was like a lawsuit or something that delisted their coin off the market for a little bit. And I think once that came, I sold it. But I like XRP. Was anybody still holding Ethereum?
Oh, I'm
Still have a little
definitely
bit of it.
Ethereum. I'm accumulating Ethereum.
Let's see. Well, it got close to one of the targets, which was at 47. I think we was looking at 5 grand or 55, 54. But it still looks, healthy. It hasn't broken any new lows really on any major time frames yet. So that's gonna be beautiful when it finally does coil and break out.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's in it's starting to do a liquidation period, which is beautiful if you're a holder and you have conviction and you just stay with it and buy the dips. Because,
Yep.
like you just said, royalty, you know, when it happens, it's gonna coil and it's gonna pop. You know what I mean? It's like if you're trading zero DTE during FOMC, right?
Man,
You're either going to be in it for the trade or you're going to miss the trade, one of the two.
it's either you eating steak or ramen that day.
Right, right.
Let's see. I'm looking at Bitcoin right now. I mean Bitcoin. It looks like it's doing this little lower highs for right now. We saw that right there, and then it kind of broke out. But honestly, I mean, my eyes just say, look at that.
Yeah,
So the thing is, if we do get another dip down into here, it's all nice buy levels. I don't see a problem because the thing is, it's holding up like this level right here. I wouldn't even go this level. I would actually go like right here. So all this action right over here is getting bought up right here. So even if we do tap the top, which is like this 112 level, even if we do tap this level right here, I think it's going to get bought up. And if it drops anywhere within here, like that's going to be a nice accumulation zone for the next move up. And we can push this 125 to 128 level. So I'm still by the dip on Bitcoin right now, even if we do decide to come back down and retest like 108, 107, it's going back up. So, um,
agree.
all right, let's see.
Agree. There's too many institutional investors and big companies and states and countries that are involved in Bitcoin at this point for it to fail. That's just the way I look at it.
Um, 'Cause I mean, I think everybody has exposure to like Bitcoin and things of that nature as of right now.
That's right. I mean, you can now put crypto in your retirement accounts, I believe.
This ain't the
But
right
that's
button.
one of the reasons why. Well, that's one of the reasons why MicroStrategy was in a lot of pension funds and retirement accounts because before you could not put crypto in there, so that was a good Bitcoin proxy to have if people wanted it.
Solana's at 236 now,
All right? You see the way that's moved,
bro.
man.
That's crazy.
I just noticed that last week. Do you see why I'm starting a position? I should have started a long time ago.
I had to go back and look and see because I remember when Solana was like way under $100, and now it's sitting like pushing 300.
Yep. I think it has a lot of room up.
I think if it gets back above this 242, then that'd be a nice move back up. But the only thing is this candle getting ready to close on a daily bearishly. So I really don't consider these to almost stick on crypto just because of how volatile it is. But if we just gonna respect it, this candle closes in 29 minutes, and so it's already rejected the highs, and it's getting ready to close, breaking previous day's lows. But I think it'll be about up because it's coming off a nice strong green candle last week. So it's nothing to be just worried about. If anything, it'll come back down and retest 215, and just retest some of these levels within this candle. Monthly looks strong. So if it dips, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. I mean, we're just seeing a healthy pullback like it wouldn't hurt to see in the rest of the market, because it's coming out of, two solid candles. You got 9 days left on this monthly candle, a nice 3 month candle. So it's strong, it's healthy. I just think we might see, prices pull back a little bit. If so, I don't think there's anything to worry about. You got some nice support right here. If it'll click it, there we go. We got some nice support like right there.
All right, bet.
So
That's the buy the dip.
yeah, bro. Red Boy say even Scottie Pippen is a Bitcoin bull.
Yeah.
Hey, let me know when Jordan hop in that thing though. When he start putting some positions or something, let me know. When they put hey, look, when they come out with a special edition Jordan with crypto on Bitcoin on there, let me know.
There was
Right.
there was an article that came out. I think that it was about Kevin Durant. He forgot his password to his Coinbase account, like 2016 or something like that, or 2015. I think it was something like really early on. He had bought Bitcoin for like whatever price it was, like $100 or whatever. He finally got his login back in and went from like $100 and something dollars to like $100 and something thousand dollars. Like he forgot his password and they finally gave it back to him. So, but I'm seeing a lot of athletes doing that. Like Odell Beckham Jr. was another one that I think got paid in crypto. He got paid in Bitcoin like a couple years
Oh,
ago at
I
least.
remember that.
And then, yeah, and then his money is he took his salary, he got paid in crypto, and he flipped it for some nice profit. So there's quite a few athletes who are adapting that, which is really interesting. That just means that hey, they're optimistic on it, and when the athletes start piling in like Scottie Pippen, Kevin Durant, you can't ignore it now. It's impossible to.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Brad Boy say we all know Jordan. He like money. Jordan loves that money. Everybody knows it.
Yes, sir.
So if he come out with some Jordan, some retro 11s with the Bitcoin symbol on the side, and they come out in store, it's nice and different. If you see some Jordans on the street, you gotta know how to pick out the fake ones for the real ones. So they gotta come out in the store, or they gotta be online from somewhere that's reputable. But if you come out with the Bitcoin symbol on the side, I might go ahead and cop some.
You want those limited edition sneakers that are Bitcoin affiliated.
But they look, they have to be real though. I can't mess with the fake Jordans. That you went to school growing up and you had the fake Jordans. Hey,
Yeah.
you couldn't do that. You had to get the real J's. So definitely check them out. They do come out with the crypto 11s. If y'all see that, no, I said it first. The crypto,
Crypto
oh,
Crypto 11.
the crypto
I love it,
11s,
man.
man. So
They're gonna be that nice Bitcoin orange,
man,
Ooh,
if
that'd be crisp actually.
hey,
right?
so if Jordan reach out to us, we got ideas. You
All
know,
right.
if he come out there,
Put a little Bitcoin logo on it.
bro, we want our own Kingdom J's. The
Hmm.
Kingdom, the retro Kingdom 13s.
That'd
There we
be
go.
dope.
But uh,
Dope.
let's see. Before we wrap it up, anybody else that got anything they want to share with the people? Some positions they're holding, strategies they want to share, stocks they're looking at, um, anything.
Well, I was talking to you earlier today, man. Rich Tech Robotics, RR. That's the company that I'm super bullish on. Robotics are a wave of the future with AI coming in, and Rich Tech Robotics. They're gonna put robots in restaurants, man. They're gonna have bartender robots. They're gonna have robots working in fast food, warehouses, all sorts of different stuff. I'm super bullish on the company.
Bro, me and my wife was just in Costco. I mean, not Costco. We was in Sam's Club earlier, getting groceries and stuff this morning, and it caught us off guard because it was a it looked like it was like a cleaning buggy type thing, and it just rolled past us. It didn't have nobody manning it. It had sensors on it, and it beat, and it just was cruising through the store gradually, picking up stuff off the ground and stuff, like sweeping up
Yeah.
stuff off the ground. And it kind of threw us off because we wasn't expecting it, but you know, it's like I told her, that's just, that's the time we live in and everything, where robots, you're not gonna have probably janitors and stuff like that and cooks. You're just gonna have, different type of robots, um, just move around the store. I don't know if y'all used to watch that show when back in the day called BattleBots, bro,
Yes.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was, I feel like that was just kind of ushering us into the era that we was gonna be approaching here in 2025. But like, that was super dope. Show just how watching everybody design those different type of robots and stuff. So, this R&R, are they actually, do they have any robots or products like actually in use in any big name companies or anything yet?
they do. I'm not sure exactly which companies off the top of my head. I
Okay.
can look it up and I can definitely get that information. But they do have contracts. They do have products that are actually in use as well.
Okay. Dope. Dope. Um, Serve. Bread Boy just brought up Serve. Serve was a dope one too. It looked like this R&R. It had some nice consolidation here around this $2 range. So if you got in below that, you got in at a pretty good price. Right now it's pushing this $5 mark, and we could be getting ready to break these highs right here at
That's what I like.
521. So if I was to set up, my fib levels to use this, those would be my highs and lows right there. So once we break these highs right now, then the long term price target would be like around like $7, 7.15, and 6.14 will be my price targets as long as these highs and lows hold. So it's still on discount. You can buy it for 40. You can average down at 330 and at 228. Within regards of these lows being maintained right here at $1.37. So definitely still in the buy zone. I would like to see it back around 330, and I'll start taking positions then if it comes down back to that level. Just because it's one of those hot spots. You see, once it got once it got above this $3.30 level, you just kind of seen it just never come and just never retested. It just took off from there. So
Uh-huh.
definitely the hot spot for it. And if you're gonna get in, I would say get in at 440 and at 330 and kind of monitor it from there. If you don't have to average down at 228, you probably can get away with it. But if you're just aggressive in it, if it's something that you believe in, then you could take another position down here like 230, 228, and that'll just bring your dollar cost average down a little bit more reasonable. So when it does retest this and take off a little bit higher, it'll be easy for your positions to go in the green. So super dope.
Hell yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. So um look, I didn't sparked up that battle box conversation, man. That was a dope TV show.
It was funny.
Yeah. So all right,
Bringing
well,
back some nostalgia.
hey, for real, always. So it looks like that we've been holding the people for almost an hour and 25 minutes. I just kind of been trying to not give them the 2 hour, 2.5 hours. Sometimes we just get carried away, and
Yeah.
with stocks we can continue to talk on and on and on. But I figure we start breaking it down, we can give people enough time to go back, look over the video, apply some of the stuff, before the market opens. So once again, I appreciate the team for checking in, with the family with me. Fridge, Fish, Ryan. It's gonna be a couple more, next Sunday or whatnot, but we definitely enjoy getting on here, just chopping it up, looking at stocks, giving you guys perspectives and things of that nature. So, before we hop out, as always with the team, is there anything you want to leave with the family going into the week?
I'm looking at the almanac right now, and Monday and Tuesday are supposed to be bearish. Wednesday is neutral. Thursday is bearish. Friday is bullish.
That's the Stock Traders Almanac.
That's correct, sir.
That's super
Keep it on
dope.
my
Hey, for real,
keep it on my desk at all times.
yes.
You're the one
So
that turned me on to that, man.
yeah, I try to tell people all the time, like if you just want to recognize the cycles and know how stocks typically perform, like the September effect, the Christmas rally, things of that nature. Um, Pick up the Stock Traders Almanac. It comes out yearly, it's just like the Farmers Almanac, but it trains you and conditions your mental, your psychology of trading. It conditions it to be able to know what to expect, every quarter, every couple of months, how how the market could possibly perform during that time. So, like when I say that September effect, we're talking about historically, stocks normally don't perform as well in that particular month. And at this time, it's not necessarily we going into a bearish territory or price action. It's just we've been running hot for so long, like Fridge was saying. At some point, it has to cool down so the market could actually close green, but the returns for that particular month just might not be high. We might close close to flat. So that Stock Traders Almanac that you just brought up, Fish, um, definitely way to keep the information flowing, and to reach out to more people to draw awareness to different tools that we can use as traders to be able to pivot the seasons of the market. So appreciate that.
Yeah, man. One more thing here. Almost forgotten. As I'm looking at the almanac reminded me of this. That Tuesday is a Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah. It's one of the highest holidays of the year for the Jewish people. What that means for the market is it's typically a low volume day. That the almanac is not telling us that, but I went back and looked through historical data, and it says that yes, uh, that is typically a low volume day. So just keep that in mind when you're trading on Tuesday.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, definitely keep that in mind. Fridge, Ryan, you got anything you guys want to share with the good people?
I would say for me personally, because I always try to give different advice like every single week, and not just be like, all right, do this, guys. All right, hey, just like I said last week, do the same thing again. The thing that I want to think about that's different this time is, um, if you're an investor or a trader or whatever, look at your surroundings in the real world to see what's popping off, what's trending. Look around you and become familiar with your surroundings. Like for me, as someone who's an educator, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I see what students are bringing to the classrooms every single day, what brands are being brought in, what products are being brought in, what people are talking about, what's trending. And that to me is what tells me where stocks could be hot, right? Snapchat has been a thing that I've been loving, ever since it went down to like $7 a share. It's at like 8.15 right now because my students still use Snapchat every single day of their life. Another one that people, sleep on a lot is Celsius. A lot of my students are drinking Celsius in the mornings, which is another company there. So the thing to full port of booze, no, Mirage, we're not full port of the booze. Get out of here. The thing the thing to remember is that like if you are seeing what companies are doing around you in your everyday life, like that's your conviction sometimes for people, myself included. I use what my students bring in and I see what they got, and it helps me gauge what's important, what's trending, what's viral, what's popping off. And it's that simple. I'm not charting the stock. I'm not, doing a bunch of research in the financials. I'm just seeing what's trending. And that's usually where the market might be heading towards for those kind of companies. So my advice, keep your head on a swivel and look around you and see what's going on for brands around you. You see a lot of trucks coming around with brands that you are familiar with, you can invest in those, those kind of things. It's a very simple, yeah, I think very powerful way to invest into companies, in my opinion. That's my advice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that's very good. And then just to piggyback on it too, like pick companies you like too. At least if you're paying to use them, you're supporting the company and you own the stock. But yeah, as I always say, keep it small.
Yeah, and I know one
No
thing
need
that you
to, no need.
always say. One thing I
Go
always
ahead.
notice about you, you always talk about how you own shares of a company for a good amount of time. You know,
Yes, I'm definitely a buy and hold person.
I'm looking at BA right now. I'm listening, but I'm looking at this little curl up
Another
on
stock I own.
BA.
Yeah, I own them too. Got assigned to CSP a long time ago, like a year ago. Just holding it.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna have BA on watch. I think that bro sent a message up about BA over the weekend, so kind of put it on my radar. I'm gonna just see what happens at this 213 levels as it comes down. Gio just said BA news this week. Yup, I'm putting my eyes on it too, bro, so we can eat off of it. This big meltdown that it's been having day over day over day. Eventually, it's gonna have to skyrocket back up. So we're gonna see how this plays out going into the week. And Costco earnings too. We probably be wrapping this up and y'all got back on the charts. I can't help it because I wanted to be back on the charts. You feel me?
You act like you don't like it,
Hey, I
man.
love it. This is life. Charts is life. I'm gonna make a shirt.
Right?
You say charts is life. BA got some. I mean, Costco got a little consolidation coming, heading up to ER. ER is what, Thursday? Buyers are stepping in at 9:47. So, TGT, man, I just looked at TGT when y'all was talking about it. What, Saturday? That thing's been crumbling, but see a little consolidation here. I like BA a little better just because it looks a lot more smoother. If we can catch the lows here at 213, we may can take the ride back to the upside, even if it's choppy. It tends to trade, just straight up when it does. So even if we can watch this and catch it at like 213, eventually it should break out and it should carry us back up to at least 222. So, but yeah, if I had to drop any knowledge to you guys, mine would be to um, have a plan for getting in and getting out of trades. If you don't have a plan to exit, if you don't have a plan to enter, that means you don't have a plan to exit. If you don't have a plan to exit, how are you gonna close out with profits? So when you're getting in a trade, know why you're getting in. Know if you're trading toward lows. Know if you're already at the highs. If that works, it gives you a trading plan to form, and you just keep that habit going. Um, I'm always gonna be for safe trading, buying reasonable contracts with reasonable data and reasonable delta, because sometimes the trades don't work out as we need to. So it's definitely always safer to give contracts time. It gives you an opportunity to be right. So that's just my word for the weekend. We appreciate everybody for coming to hang out with us this Sunday. Definitely giving us the opportunity to share some knowledge and just engage with you guys. So we look forward to seeing you guys in the market tomorrow, and we'll tap in with you guys a little bit later. Appreciate it. All right,
Have a
Mirage,
good one.
Gio, see
Nice.
y'all, man.